Hi there, and welcome to Fourth and Long, with me, Barrett Lucas.
And I'm Nathan Koyman.
Dustin Hughes is gone for the evening. The third week of football is over, and there was a play that happened on Monday night that was really disheartening. Call that the refs made that just really shouldn't have happened.
It should have never came down to that. It should have never been able to get so discombobulated. I mean, we'll show you the play as we go on, but I mean, I'm sure everybody out there has seen it at least, 20,000 times now.
It's played quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to just mainly talk about the refs and how much of a bang-up job they've been doing with their missed calls, no calls, things that haven't been happening that are putting our players in danger and going to be getting people hurt. We're going to start with this Kevin Ogletree play. This happened last Sunday. And this was, as you can see, Kevin Ogletree trips on a hat in the end zone thrown by the ref. Should have been a legal procedure. If it was, the ref should have dropped his hat right immediately on the sideline. Instead, he throws it into the end zone and ultimately cost the Cowboys a touchdown. So here's the play.
And the problem is there's nowhere near any legal procedure. He's nowhere near the sidelines, nowhere near even getting close to stepping out of bounds. The fact of the matter is the referee should have thrown the hat behind the play, behind Kevin Ogletree, not at Kevin Ogletree or in front of Kevin Ogletree, as you see.
So what bothers me is what if he breaks his leg, tears his ACL, tears his MCL.
There's so many bad things that could have happened on this. Lucky for him, no big deal, brushes it off, moves on, but the ramifications for this could have been so much worse.
There's just no reason for this to ever happen. I hope there's something that happens to the ref about this, but man, this is embarrassing.
And I doubt anything's going to happen. Nothing's really happened to the refs. I mean, we've had the one ref removed from his game because he was a diehard, outspoken Saints fan. But that's the only thing that's happened. Not a whole lot of things have happened to the refs due to their inability to call an NFL game.
Yeah. This one is Golden Tate, who you're going to hear the name later in the show. You've probably heard his name a lot over the last 24 hours. This is Golden Tate's hit on Sean Lee 2 weeks ago. It was a no call. Should have definitely been called. Go ahead and take a look. 81 is Golden Tate here.
Slips.
Comes running down the middle of the bottom of the screen and hits Sean Lee. There is a late flag that comes in, and the flag is actually called for a push-in.
Roughing the passer. Late hit out of bounds on Russell Wilson.
For pushing Russell Wilson out of bounds. But as you can see here when they replay this, Golden Tate leaves his feet and puts the crown of his helmet right into Sean Lee's chin, and you just can't do that.
I mean, the NFL always talks about defenseless receivers. Really and truly, it's not just receivers. It's a defenseless player at all times. And once again, what bothers me the most about it is, A, there was no flag. B, Tate doesn't even know what happened. He's just out there celebrating the fact that he just took a man off his feet and busted him open, I mean, there's no ramification on the field as there is. They did fine him, but he is appealing the fine, which is just unacceptable. I mean, there's nothing there to dispute it.
And luckily, Sean Lee did return to this game. He didn't get hurt too bad. But Junior Seau just killed himself over concussions, and that's what the league is supposed to be worried about. And the owners aren't paying these refs to bring them back to enforce player safety. It's showing that the owners really don't care about the safety of their players.
And they don't. I mean, if they did, it would be so much different. And the players, I mean, and I hate to say it, but they're taking advantage of it. It's like, you've heard it a couple of different times. It's a substitute teacher. This is Darius Hayward-Bay getting knocked out. Last
Sunday with a very illegal hit from the Steelers. I mean, the guy launched off his feet and hit him in the helmet, hit him right in the face mask. And this wasn't called. Darius Hayward-Bay laid here unconscious for about 5 minutes.
He ended up spending the whole night in the hospital. The doctors do say he's expected to make a full recovery. But, once again, it's a concussion. Everything we've talked about from 2 years ago that has come to this point, and now it's just take advantage of it if you can. You know, obviously the players don't worry too much about their pocketbooks once in a while. I mean, you can tell a lot of these players just go out. I remember 2 years ago with Harrison from the Steelers going, I don't care. I'll go out and get fined. You know, and now it's become such a dire situation that the players are just not being protected enough with these officials from the Lingerie League.
You can hit a player in the chest, but why do you got to hit him in the head? Your helmet is already a weapon, and you're hitting these guys in the head. These players are getting too big, too fast, too physical. Hit them clean, hit them legal, but there's no excuse for this. This is just out of control. Shouldn't happen, and I'm really getting tired of the refs not calling these hits.
And the refs just, it's almost like they turn a blind eye to it. I mean, you take these guys off the fields of a Division III field, 6-man football, Lingerie League. This game is just incredibly fast and incredibly strong, physical, and they're just unable to keep up with these athletes that are out on the field. And it's just, somebody's going to get seriously hurt. We've seen it a couple of times. They've been okay, but as the season progresses, what's going to happen? What's going to be the final outcome to have the final straw? You would think with what we're about to show you, this would be enough, but
you guys have seen this play probably a million times over the last 24 hours. Sorry it's a little bit blurry. This is the Seattle screw job. I guess that's the best thing to call it. The Fail Mary. The interception that never was. We'll start it from the beginning here, and we'll talk as we go through it.
The first time an interception has won a game in the end zone.
The bottom of the screen. Shields didn't fall down because somebody jumped into him. Shields here fell down because Golden Tate pushed him. Straight up shoved him down. Should have been an offensive pass interference, and I understand that you don't call pass interference on Hail Marys. There's a lot of pushing going on already, but it's usually not as clear as that.
90% of the time, they're playing, you know, they're hand checking, they're shoving, they're shoulder checking. No big deal, but as blatant as this was, there is no reason why the game should have ever gotten to the point of having to call a simultaneous non-catch or an interception.
There's the pass interference, pushing Shields down. Clearly, Jennings has the ball here, and Golden Tate is just trying to fight for it. The referee is coming down the back sideline right now.
None of the refs were in position to make the correct call.
Not even close.
The correct call is a pass interference, game over, Packers escape with a 12-7 victory. Done and said. We'd be talking about
how ugly the game was.
And how the Seahawks all game long harassed and dismantled the front line of Green Bay and got to Rodgers 8 times in the first half. They only got to him once, but the Packers did eventually adjust, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, we're not going to make you see that again. I've seen that so many times in the last 24 hours that I'm really sick to my stomach that the call was blown. The game was given to the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. My main question is, how do the Seahawks keep getting away with this? 4 touchdowns in week 1 against 4 timeouts in week 1 against Arizona. You got the Sean Lee hit by Golden Tate in week 2. Mm-hmm. And now you've got the Golden Tate shoves a player down, no pass interference, and then they tell him that he scores that winning touchdown. How do the Seahawks keep getting these breaks? I just don't get it.
There is no plausible explanation. It seems to always go the Seahawks' way lately. You know, I believe in karma. We'll see what happens. The only way things are going to get better is if the NFL swallows their pride, the owners, Roger Goodell swallows his pride and says, you know what, we have to make something happen. Or it's going to end up losing a lot of fan base. The hardest part is the NFL knows its fan base, knows me and you are going to turn on the TV on Sunday, watch the games again. But it's kind of sad nowadays that you're watching the game only to see what train wreck's going to happen next. It's been 3 weeks straight now where these replacement refs are getting worse, not getting better. We all believe in that. It takes time. You get used to it. You pick up the speed. You learn the speed. They're only getting slower, and the game's not stopping. It's going forward. And it just can't continue without losing a lot of fan base.
No. I don't know what we have to do to get the owners to end this lockout with the refs. If each player's got to give one game's salary to end this, or what has to happen. But the owners are showing that they're not caring about our players' safety.
Absolutely not.
They're showing that they really don't care if these refs come back or not. They're saying refs are a dime a dozen, but they're not a dime a dozen. These refs can't get the calls right. They just can't do it right.
And they prove that time in and time out, and it just, I mean, the players are getting hurt. You know, it's the NFL only caring about the bottom line, and that's what's sad.
We're going to go into the picks now. Thursday night football. Browns, Ravens. I've got the Ravens in this.
Ravens are just too tough. Browns are still trying to, pardon the pun, weeding through his rookie season and being the starter, and Ravens are just too tough. I don't think the Browns have a chance. It is a division game. I always say division games are always the hardest one to win, but this will be a pretty easy walk in the park for Baltimore.
I got Baltimore in this one also. The Patriots and the Bills. C.J. Spiller got hurt. He's out a little bit. Fred Jackson says he's going to be able to come back and play. This is a division game, but I got the Patriots winning this one.
I'm going to go with the Patriots, too. The only way the Bills have a chance is if Mario Williams shows up, gets in Tom Brady's face, makes him make a few mistakes. I just don't think the Bills have the firepower or the ability to beat the Patriots. The Patriots will run and gun, and it's over from there.
49ers versus the Jets. 49ers had a pretty bad defensive game against the Vikings. But without Darrelle Revis, if the Jets aren't going to put Tebow in, I don't think the Jets stand much of a chance to win this game.
I don't think so either. I mean, San Francisco's still the top 1 or 2 team in the NFC. They had a little, I mean, there was asked on different TV stations if they were overrated, this, that, and the other. I don't believe they're overrated. I think they ran into a team that they underestimated in the Vikings. Ponder looked awesome again. Very protective of the ball. The Jets, Darrelle Revis is their heart and soul of their defense. He's out for the season.
He is going to seek a second opinion right now, but I do believe with that torn ACL, he ain't coming back.
Yeah, I mean, 49ers pretty easily. I mean, unless the Jets do something spectacular, I don't see it happening. 49ers.
Seems like we've got a week of division games here. Seahawks and Rams. I'm going to pick the Seahawks in this one. I really don't want to. I'd like to see them lose after coming away. But the Rams haven't looked incredible. Although Cortland Finnegan, I hope he's covering Golden Tate and he gets in his face and knocks him around. Because Cortland Finnegan plays the game a little dirty.
Absolutely.
And he's going to, I hope he just rattles Golden Tate up.
And with Cortland Finnegan, his whole thing is he is always the instigator. But in the NFL today, it's always a second retaliation, and that's normally what happens with Cortland Finnegan. I'm going to go with the Rams just because, you know, Sam Bradford's having not a very good start to the season. I just think Jeff Fisher's going to have him ready to go. I don't see the Seahawks pulling out a miracle again, but I could be wrong. I'm still going to stick with the Rams. Their defense is still pretty all right with James Laurinaitis in the middle. I'm going to go Rams.
And Chris Long there as well. Panthers, Falcons. I don't think there's much to even talk about here. Cam Newton's going to get slaughtered by that defense. Mike Nolan was a big addition. Falcons take this game. Could almost be a blowout.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Blowout. Matty Ice is Matty Ice. As long as he can show it down the road in the playoffs when the games start really matter more. Other than that, Panthers don't stand a chance. The sophomore slumps hit Cam Newton. We'll see what happens, but Falcons probably in a landslide.
Vikings-Lions. I think this is a close game. Matthew Stafford, I think, got hurt last week. Sean Hill came in. Looked all right. I'm going to take the Vikings in this one. I just don't... Even if Stafford comes back, he's making too many bad decisions. They're not getting that whole team going. I think the Vikings win.
I agree. Vikings have looked strong. They had that one blown game, I'm going to say, against the Colts. They got unlucky, if you will. The Lions, I heard that Matthew Stafford either pulled a hamstring, hurt a hamstring, not too sure what the final diagnosis was. Sean Hill came in, we all know, in the game against the Titans. I just think the Vikings are pretty hot right now. The Lions are going down. Vikings.
Chargers, Chiefs. Arrowhead's a hard place to play. But the Chiefs are not doing very good at all. I'm taking the Chargers in this one, even though they're at Kansas City.
I take the Chargers also. KC just has proven nothing this year with being the sexy pick of everybody to win the AFC North.
AFC West.
AFC West, I'm sorry. Chargers are consistently inconsistent, but I do believe they win this game pretty easy in Arrowhead.
Another division matchup here, Titans-Texans, but there's not much to say here either. Texans win this game.
Absolutely, unless I also agree with the Texans winning, unless Chris Johnson decides to actually run the ball. Jake Locker had an amazing game on Sunday, over 300 yards, 44 points, but the Texans are the best team in the AFC, hands down. Titans don't really have a chance.
Bengals, Jags. I like Andy Dalton. I like AJ Green. I got the Bengals beating the Jags.
I got the Bengals beating the Jags. Also, Andy Dalton's far better than Blaine Gabbert. Jaguars just haven't shown any pop. Bengals.
Raiders, Broncos. Raiders, I'm not sure with the hit if Darius Hayward-Bay is going to be able to come back and play in this. Carson Palmer's been playing at a very high level. Peyton Manning can't grip the ball very well, but they are in Denver, and I think Peyton comes back, gets a win this game.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders, just because Peyton Manning's been so inconsistent in the first three quarters. His best game was the first game against the Steelers. In the second week and the third week, they wait too long. Takes them too long to get into a rhythm. Takes them too long to try to start throwing the ball downfield. I picked the Raiders.
Right now, Peyton Manning's saying, how did Tim Tebow win with this offense, with these receivers, and with this defense? I don't understand it.
I got one answer for you, and that's Tebow had the ability to outrun the defense and bowl people over.
He's more athletic than Peyton Manning is. Peyton Manning might be able to read the defenses, but right now that's not helping him.
Right. Peyton Manning just has, I don't know, I'm going to say he hasn't lost his ability to do what he does. I think he's lost the speed. You know, a year outside the NFL, it takes a lot out of a guy. He's 36 years old. You know, he's still one of the greats, but I just don't think he can do it.
Dolphins, Cardinals. Cardinals win this, hands down. They're for real.
Cardinals are absolutely for real. They stunned the Patriots. There's just not really much to say. I mean, the Dolphins are pretty horrible. Cardinals are coming off another win. They're 3-0. Easy win for the Cardinals.
Redskins versus Buccaneers. Buccaneers got a fairly good defense. I like the head coach. I like what he's doing there. They came off a tough loss to Dallas. I'm taking Tampa in this game.
The Redskins, I don't know what they're doing really. I mean, RG3's playing well, but I think I'm going to pick the Redskins just based on the fact that, you know, the Buccaneers had that close loss to Dallas. I think the Redskins rebound and win to go 2-2.
Saints and Packers. kind of feel bad for Drew Brees in this one. Packers are going to be pretty angry after that Seattle screw job. Saints are not the Saints. They're more like the Aints without Sean Payton. Packers are going to destroy the Saints this week. It's going to be like Jay Cutler running his mouth about that Packers defense, wishing them luck.
Absolutely.
They're playing with a purpose, and they will come out and get a win.
It's funny to me how the Saints have been the best team in the NFC for the last 3 years. They lose their coach, and they become 0-3 with nowhere to go. I mean, they have shown nothing. The Packers have a sour taste in their mouth. They have very angry players that want to go out and prove something, and the Saints are the team in their crosshairs this week. And
talking about bounty gate, they're not going to need to put a bounty on, but they're going to come. Clay Matthews is going to come hit.
And one more thing, I got to give the Packers the credit for coming back out on the field on Monday night to do the extra point, and I got to give Aaron Rodgers credit for apologizing to the fans on Monday or on Tuesday morning. When the NFL wouldn't come out and say they're sorry, Aaron Rodgers stepped up and apologized for the mishaps and what happened in that game, and I give the guy a lot of credit.
I wouldn't have come back on the field. I don't care. Find me whatever. I ain't coming back on the field. Giants-Eagles. Eagles just showed you can't be consistently bad every week and squeak by a point. They did lose last week, and I've got them losing again to the Giants.
I think
Vic can't sit in that pocket.
I agree with you. The Giants will win this game. It was shown last week that if you get to Vic, the Cardinals' defensive line destroyed Vic. I mean, you saw the 93-yard touchdown return after the fumble. Giants are as good, if not a little better, on defense than the Cardinals, Giants by quite a bit.
They got a lot better pass rush. Last game be Monday night. Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears. I think Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game. The Chicago Bears offensive line is horrible.
Yeah.
Just horrible. And DeMarcus Ware is going to come charging through that line. Sean Lee is going to disrupt a lot of stuff. I definitely think that the Cowboys got this game. It's going to be a close game. The Cowboys aren't firing on all cylinders on offense, but they're going to do enough to fluster Jay Cutler and he's going to make some bad choices, and once he makes those bad choices, game's over.
Right, and I agree with you. I think the Cowboys got that close win against Tampa. I think they come back and do the same thing. They're going to get to Jay Cutler, and we all know how well Jay Cutler plays when he's frustrated. He plays really well for the other team.
Yep.
So,
well, that's all we have this week for 4th and Long. Please join us next week and every other week throughout the football season when we bring you highlights of what happened the previous week. Thank you. Have a good night.